Hello, I'm Michelle Clary. Welcome to my personal introduction video for EDL 853 Special Education for Building Administrators. I have been a high school special education teacher for 12 years, 6 years at Valley Center High School and 6 years at Paola High School. Then I moved up closer to home to become a special education coordinator in the Wyandotte Comprehensive Special Education Cooperative in Kansas City, Kansas. Bonner Springs, Edwardsville, and Piper schools are two other districts in our cooperative. I am currently the coordinator of early childhood through high school for these two smaller districts. My passions are spending time with my husband and son. It usually involves some type of sporting event. We're either watching it or participating in it. We've been all over the place just to watch a game because we love it. Inclusive culture. Inclusive culture means to me that everyone gets a chance to be themselves in education and in social settings. Experience tells us that as communities and schools embrace the true meaning of inclusion, they become better able to change a segregated special education system into an inclusive service delivery system and to change a society and world intolerant and fearful of difference into one that embraces and celebrates natural diversity with meaningful student-centered learning. I've always been in schools that have had a wonderful tradition of having an inclusive culture for all students, whether it's socioeconomic reasons or learning reasons or cultural reasons. Strategies to implement to ensure the equitable treatment of students and staff is to value what each student brings, establish respectful class climate, plan for everyone to participate and achieve, and take the community approach. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. And then my favorite one is build relationships with students. Advocate. Advocating doesn't just stand with the building principals. It's also the responsibility of the teachers too. It's everyone's responsibility to build relationships with students. Research tells us that students are least likely to achieve higher test scores and accomplishing the learning targets presented to them in a classroom if a relationship hasn't been established with a classroom teacher. And this also relates to communication. We need to communicate the needs of the students with other adults that work with them. You pick and choose who you want to advocate for your student, and it's that advocate's responsibility to communicate with the other team members of what that student needs, what makes them successful in class. And we need to make sure that we are communicating with parents the success that the student is having. All of this can be accomplished by taking an interest in what the student is interested in and tying it into those everyday lessons. We need to respect the private nature of the knowledge that's possessed about the students and their families and use that knowledge only in the student's best interest. We need to be knowledgeable of what resources are available in our community. There's no crime in borrowing from another districts, using their idea, or even contacting them and researching what they have done and seeing if you can replicate it in your own district. School and staff members need to facilitate social skills as students interact and relate to one another and develop relationships and friendships. That's just not for special education students. That's for all students. We need to be working on social skills. One thing we can do together is we can learn about diversity and culture and have primary resources come in and be a part of our building. And we need to have high expectations for everyone. Steps to change the negative assumptions. We need to train staff to address issues that they hear and see in the hallway. They can't ignore those issues. It's easier for staff members to walk away when they hear homophobic language, but we need to teach them how to address it. Another thing a building principal can do is develop a PAC, a Principal Advisory Council. But you need to make sure you have a wide representation of members on this council. Not all of your members need to think the same way that the building administrator does. We need to use inclusive language. Principals need to be able to model that language and have it carried down from teachers to students. And we need to adopt a character education of respect and acceptance and honesty. And don't be afraid to use the word tolerance, because we want people to be accepted, not tolerated. The references that I used, these are the references that I used to develop my video. I look forward to learning in this class and working with each and every one of you. Thank you.